took a while for me to decide that painting was what I wanted to do. And I thought for a while I'd want to be an architect, but that died out really quick too. I wasn't satisfied with what I was producing. All I knew was that I wanted to create things all throughout my life, because that's what I was very good at, imagining things, making things up, just roaming out in my own world, creating dragons and fantasy stuff. But around 2002, I really realized that what I wanted to do was just produce my world. It led me to what I do now. So sometimes when I wake up, I'd have coffee with my wife, Kara. Kara is my equal. As a partner in the house and as a partner in art making, she's my equal. But as far as our work is concerned, her world and my world have nothing to do with each other. They're diametrically different. And we hang out with our cats. And so we play for a while. And around 8 o'clock, I'm here in the studio. Every day is different, but sometimes I just come here to the studio and I get to work right away. But I'm not a machine. I'm a human being, which means that I have different kinds of moods. When that happens and you don't feel like working, what you do is you just sit down in a remote and do absolutely nothing. And eventually, your mind can't take that. So I turn to the natural world, I turn to the cosmos for inspiration. That's an endless resource of inspiration. Because when you look at the other living things that are growing on our planet, you're overwhelmed by it. I like acrylic because you can make it look like watercolor and you can make it look like oil, depending on what kind of substance you add to it or how much water you use. When I begin a piece, I splatter water all over it, water that has a little bit of pigment in it. As the water dries, the pigment is left and it creates all these different kinds of textures. From that point on, I stare at it, basically. It's like staring at clouds and creating figures. So when figures jump out, I start stitching all these different figures together, and that's how I create the story for the piece. So when people come up to me and say, hey, can you paint me something? I automatically say, I can't do that, because before I start the piece, I have no idea what the piece would be. It just evolves naturally. It's 50% planned and 50% random. And that's what makes it fun every day. When you work things with your hands, it becomes more human. I like the textures that the hands would make, like the mistakes in the image, and that's what makes it human for me. I don't think I would ever produce artwork that's just 100% digital, because for me it seems a bit cold. Music is my gasoline. I find it very difficult to work without music. I get my inspiration from somewhere else, but music is definitely a staple in my studio. My favorite artwork would always be the current piece that I'm working on. Some pieces would take more from me than other pieces, but basically that doesn't dictate whether it's going to be my favorite or not. My work is constantly evolving, so if I produce one piece today, tomorrow I'll be working on something very different. You'd want to build your own, and you grow into yourself, you evolve naturally into your own world. I remember myself saying a lot to people when they ask me what is art for me. I would say art is life, art is how we're all supposed to live. But that's not necessarily true. Art for me is something that keeps me sane. It enables me to share pieces of myself with other people, and it brings an immense amount of happiness in my life. My well-being shoots up constantly. I think that's a good thing to have as you get older. I'm 40 now. If I'm lucky, I have 30 more years to produce these things, and I'd have to say that's not enough time for me to produce everything that I want to produce. At 5 p.m., everything shuts down. It doesn't matter what's happening in the studio. I go home. I spend time with my family because that's basically what I like doing. What do I like? I like eating, spending time with my family and eating again, and definitely beer. I'm very lucky to be with Kara because we were able to feed off each other's energy to be positive and to push ourselves to the limit of what we can produce. Art making makes me very happy. That's pretty much it. There's no secret to that.